Deion Sanders escapes $50,000 fine after Colorado's field storming controversy. How the Buffaloes avoided a costly punishment. The air at Folsom Field was electric last Saturday night. The Colorado Buffaloes, led by the ever-charismatic and polarizing Deion coach Prime Sanders, pulled off one of their biggest wins of the season, a 24-17 upset victory over number 22 Iowa State. For a program that has faced immense scrutiny and constant media attention, this triumph was more than just another W in the standings. It was a statement. It was proof that Sanders' team, battered and inconsistent throughout much of the season, still had the heart and drive to compete with the nation's best. But as the final whistle blew and the clock hit zero, celebration quickly turned into controversy. Fans and students, overcome with emotion, stormed the field in a euphoric wave of gold and black. The hill behind the end zone, proudly marked Colorado, became a launching pad for hundreds of supporters who couldn't contain their excitement. The scene was a college football classic, pure, unfiltered joy. Yet, beneath that celebration loomed a familiar threat, a possible $50,000 fine from the Big 12 Conference. The rule that everyone knows but few obey. In the world of college football, storming the field is a tradition that walks a fine line between celebration and chaos. The Big 12 Conference, like many others, has strict rules prohibiting such acts for safety reasons. Field storming can endanger players, coaches, and fans alike, and it often leads to property damage or security risks. Schools found violating this policy can face hefty fines, typically $50,000 or more. For Deion Sanders and Colorado, this wasn't a hypothetical risk. The Buffaloes had already been fined earlier in the season after fans directed offensive chants at BYU supporters. That fine cost the university $50,000, a sum that was as embarrassing as it was expensive. Given that history, many expected the Big 12 to come down hard once again after the Iowa State game. The public address announcer inside Folsom Field even tried to warn everyone. As fans pressed against the end zone railing, the voice over the speakers reminded them that rushing the field could lead to fines and possible arrests. But no one seemed to care. The emotion of the moment drowned out the warnings. Within seconds, the crowd was on the turf, surrounding players and coaches in a storm of celebration. Deion Sanders' reaction: "I want to see the kids rush the field." When asked about the potential fine, Deion Sanders' response was classic Coach Prime: bold, unapologetic, and full of heart. "Is it a fine? Come on, man. That ain't right," Sanders said with a grin after the win. "I want to see the kids rush the field. I absolutely love it." Sanders' comments reflected not only his personality but his understanding of the emotional heartbeat of college football. For him, the fans' passion was not a problem to be punished but a reflection of belief, a symbol of how far Colorado football had come under his leadership. "Hats off to our security team," Sanders added. "They do a good job ushering me in to the locker room, but I love to see it. I really do." It was a moment that perfectly captured the Coach Prime experience, the blending of spectacle, emotion, and defiance. While many coaches would have scolded their fan base or dodged the question, Sanders embraced the chaos, understanding that college football thrives on moments like these. The Big 12's decision: no fine for Colorado. To the surprise of many, Colorado got some unexpected good news just a few days later. On Tuesday, Buffalo's beat writer Brian Howell broke the story that the Big 12 had decided not to fine the university for the post-game field storming. The Big 12 informed Colorado on Tuesday that it executed its field storm management procedures and will not receive a fine for fans rushing the field after Saturday's 24-17 win against the No. 22 Iowa State, Howell reported on X. That single line, "executed its field storm management procedures," became the key to understanding why Colorado avoided a financial penalty. Essentially, the conference determined that the school had done everything it could reasonably do to prevent a field storming. The security protocols were in place, the warnings were issued, and the staff followed proper procedures. The fact that fans ignored those warnings was deemed beyond the school's control. In short, Colorado did its part, and the Big 12 decided to show leniency. Learning from the past. Fines, passion, and perception. This was not the first time Colorado found itself in trouble over fan behavior. Last season, after a dramatic overtime win against Baylor, a game that featured a game-tying Hail Mary and one of the loudest crowds Folsom Field had seen in years, the Buffaloes were fined $25,000 for field storming. The difference this time? Experience. The school seemed to have learned how to handle such moments better, ensuring that staff and security were ready even if fans were not. Still, the fine avoidance doesn't mean the lesson was fully learned. It's hard to imagine that fans, caught in the euphoria of victory, will think twice about rushing the field if Colorado pulls off another upset later in the season. In fact, the lack of punishment might even embolden them. As one fan joked on social media, "We just saved $50,000. See you on the field next time." The significance of the win. Beyond the fine drama, this victory meant a great deal to Sanders and his program. It marked only his second AP Top 25 win since taking over as Colorado's head coach. For a team sitting at 3-4 overall and just 1-3 in Big 12 play, this was a lifeline. The Buffaloes had been criticized all season for inconsistency, defensive breakdowns, and an over-reliance on quarterback Deion Sanders' playmaking abilities. But against Iowa State, the team showed grit, balance, and maturity. The defense held strong in crucial moments, the offense capitalized when it mattered, and the entire roster played with a renewed sense of urgency. For Deion Sanders, the win reaffirmed his belief in his team's potential. "This was the kind of game that shows what we're capable of," he said. "We're learning, we're growing, and we're not done yet." Rick George's relief and the road ahead. Colorado Athletic Director Rick George must have breathed a massive sigh of relief when he learned that the school would not be fined. Not only did the Buffaloes avoid a $50,000 penalty, but they also earned a victory that reignited fan enthusiasm. For a university still adjusting to the Big 12 and the spotlight that comes with having Deion Sanders as its head coach, this was a win on multiple fronts: financial, emotional, and reputational. Now, the focus shifts to the future. The Buffaloes will have a bye week to recover before heading to Salt Lake City to face the Utah Utes, another top 25 opponent. It's a game that could define the rest of their season. After that, they'll return home to host Arizona and later face Arizona State in what could be another high-stakes matchup in late November. If Colorado manages another major win, fans might once again be tempted to flood the field. And by then, Sanders may have to balance his love for fan passion with the realities of conference rules. The bigger picture. Prime time's impact. Deion Sanders has transformed Colorado football from an afterthought into a national storyline. Every week, his team commands headlines, and every move he makes becomes a talking point across sports media. Whether it's his fashion choices, his motivational speeches, or his unfiltered honesty, Sanders has brought a level of attention to Boulder that few programs ever experience. But with that attention comes pressure. Every loss is magnified, every controversy amplified. Yet, despite the criticism, Sanders continues to march forward, preaching confidence and authenticity. "We're building something special," he often says, and wins like this one against Iowa State prove that he's not wrong. For a program that went 1-11 just a few years ago, the transformation has been remarkable. Colorado's brand, ticket sales, and recruiting profile have all skyrocketed under Sanders' leadership. Even moments like this, avoiding a fine after fans storm the field, serve as reminders of how far the Buffaloes have come. Conclusion: a victory worth every penny saved. At the end of the day, no one in Boulder will remember the near fine. What they'll remember is the feeling of that night, the joy of toppling a ranked opponent, the sea of gold rushing the field, and the sight of Deion Sanders grinning as fans celebrated around him. No harm, no foul, no fine. As one reporter summed it up perfectly. For Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, the victory was more than just on the scoreboard. It was a cultural win, a moment of unity, pride, and resilience. And for now, at least, it came without a price tag. But if the Buffaloes keep playing like this, if they keep pulling off emotional, high-stakes wins, the Big 12 might want to keep that checkbook handy, because Coach Prime's Colorado doesn't plan on staying quiet anytime soon.